Yeah, this is just amazing. I don't think anyone has ever seen this matchup. Unless you play Fatigue Mage a lot or you play Freeze Mage a lot, you generally won't have any experience either observing, playing, or casting this particular matchup. I mean, how often do you see Fatigue Mage or Freeze Mage on ladder even? Almost, like, they're almost non-existent. Maybe 1 out of every 100 games you see a Fatigue Mage, 1 out of 100 games you see a Freeze Mage, and that means 1 out of like 10,000 games you see a Freeze Mage
versus Fatigue Mage
on ladder.
Yeah, and the interesting thing right now is that the Death Lords in this deck, for those of you who might not be aware, are meant to drag out minions that are crucial to the opponent's strategy sometimes. And because you're a mage, the purpose of your deck is to answer them. You're able to get them out. Let's say, you know, Kolento, I mean, Firebat has an Alexstrasza on hand right now, right? So he is immune from the, you know, devastating Deathlord pull, because if a Deathlord pulls Alexstrasza before you're ready to battlecry it, it can sign off it can sign your death warrant at that point, because if you don't get that value you need to set up a really good burst, you're going to lose the game. And so sometimes Deathlords can take out crucial cards like Alexstrasza or even an Archmage Antonidas if it comes too early and the opponent has a polymorph, for instance, which Male Mage tends to run, then that is even tougher.
Yeah, you mentioned Archmage Antonidas, and I feel, well, speaking of Archmage Antonidas, I feel like this is going to be the absolute key card in this matchup. How much value does Firebat get off this Archmage Antonidas will be the key determining factor on whether he wins this game or not, because typically the Fatigue Mage has a limited amount of heals. He has the 2 anti-heal bots, and he has the Alexstrasza, but nothing beyond that. So if you can somehow get enough fireballs to overwhelm all those heals, then you could be good to go.
Yeah, and right now, like, Firebat must be fairly happy because the Archmage Antonidas is not going to come out of the Death Lords. It's only going to be Acolytes of Pain, Mad Scientists, Loot Hoarders, and that's going to help him quite a bit. Oh wow, because could Kolento abuse this by forcing his opponent to overdraw?
It's certainly possible.
It is Mil Mage we're talking about.
If he draws something like a Cold Light Oracle and then he
Frost Novas into Blizzard,
he combines it with like a Cone of Cold or something. Yeah,
even Explosive Sheep.
Explosive Sheep would be pretty good as well.
You could probably justify running just the 2 Death Lords right now, because you are going to get at least 1 or 2 cards in your opponent's hand just off of them.
You could also justify just
ping. Ping every turn until the opponent can't draw anymore. And he has to start emptying his hand, which he just does not want to do.
One of the more interesting aspects about this matchup, I think, is that the freeze cards and the AoE clears are generally not that useful. They get kind of stuck in your hand, and you just kind of want to throw them out because usually you're not threatened by minions on the board, and you just want your freezes and you want your burns.
Yeah, you want to get those cards, like... It's like playing, you know, against Mildruid, for instance, where Mildruid, if you're a Freeze Mage, has many cards in their hand, but they have no answers. I mean, you have nothing to use your answers on, because they don't play that many minions, and this is the exact same scenario. And I think Firebat's double Acolyte of Pain might prove to become a liability more so than a help. I mean, look at his hand size right now. He's sitting on 8 cards. If Kolento wants to abuse that, it's possible.
Yeah, this is really funny. He has to play a Doomsayer in order to clear his own board.
So do you try to play it a little goofy here if you're Kolento? Try to draw as many cards as possible for your opponent?
Let's see. Kolento, or Firebat right now has 8 cards in his hand, so you could overdraw by 1.
Could you actually Frostbolt ping the Doomsayer just to make sure that the Acolytes stay up?
Yeah, that's another possibility.
Yeah, because that way you guarantee that he can't just get rid of those.
No, you Frostbolt, and attack with your Death Lord.
With your Death Lord, yeah, and then ping an Acolyte.
Ping the other
Acolyte. Okay, Kolento's going to opt for a Blizzard to make his opponent draw. He's going to try to keep his Frostbolts for Archmage and Alexstrasza as my guess at that point, or maybe for burn combinations.
Yeah, this is kind of like a combination play. He forces his opponent to overdraw, and at the same time, it gets rid of the awkward Blizzards in his hand.
I don't know what he missed, I think it might have been the second Fireball.
It was an Ice Barrier and an Arcane Intellect.
Okay, I saw the first card, but I wasn't sure what it was. And even in this point, look at the Firebat's hand. I mean, if a Collateral is played, what do you do? I mean, you have to dump your hand, but what do? Do you just play a Flame Strike on an empty board?
Flame Strike on an empty board doesn't sound like a...
No,
a
it doesn't
terrible
sound
play.
good at all. I don't know.
Flame Strike right here. So much value here.
Oh, Firebat. He might be considering it, though. I mean, he might Blizzard and Explosive Sheep. That's 2 cards out of his hand.
I like Blizzard and Explosive Sheep the best for what he has in his hand right now.
He at least Explosive Sheeps,
Mhm.
it would seem. Ah, but then again, look at Kolento having to face down the Alex Straza Frostbolt Icelands.
Mhm.
Wow, Firebat is betting his opponent. Well, then again, Firebat's got all the combo pieces he wants at this point. Right? I feel like he does have what he wants already. He's got the Alex, the double Icelands.
You do, but at the same time, your opponent has double Anti-Keelbot already in hand. Plus, he has an Echo of Medivh.
Wow, okay, no, this is too perfect. Double Frostbolt, Icelands, into Fireball.
He just needs to draw the he needs to draw another Frostbolt
Well, no, double Frostbolt, Icelands.
He needs to draw the Blood Mage Thanos for even more burn potential, I guess.
Yeah, over the course of a few turns, but if you go for the Frostbolt, Icelands, Fireball, you then have another Pyroblast. I mean, how much healing can a Mage do, even with double anti-heal bot? I don't even think that's enough.
Well,
Let me
double
calculate,
anti-heal bot
31,
plus Echo of Medivh could be enough.
Yeah, you're right. With the Echo of Medivh, I think things change. So he's gonna have to get some Fireballs off of Archmage first. Yeah, definitely the right play here by Firebat, noticing that he has to make sure that he's got enough reach in his hand over the course of multiple turns, and I believe he will have enough, because Kolento's damage output is very, very minimal with this deck.
Yeah, Mind Control Tech, not a card you want in this matchup.
Yeah, at least not at the moment. What are you going to do with that? There's no way.
There's also no polymorphs in Kolento's hand right now, so he can actually easily get rid of this Archmage Antonidas without using a lot of spells.
Yeah, this deck tends not to run Fireballs. You'll often see Fireballs cut from this deck for polymorphs. It's a thing that does happen frequently. I'm just not sure what Kolento's possible follow-ups are here. I mean, I guess you anti-heal bot and you try to kill that Archmage with everything you've got, but that buys you time. It doesn't really win you the game.
Your number one priority right here is definitely to kill off this Archmage Antonidas. You could also kill off the Alexstrasza, but at the same time, you could freeze it as another option.
Exactly. Wow, he's not going to heal.
Yeah, I think not healing is alright, right? Is he dead? No, he's not dead.
Frostbolt, Icelands. Frostbolt, Fireball, that's 15. You're right, he's not dead. He's on 1 health.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's a slight distinction we can make. Yeah, you're right, he's alive. By a small margin, but alive nonetheless.
But if Firebat brings Kolento down to 1 health...
There's no way.
Yeah, there's no way for him to heal enough back out of Pyroblast or double Fireball range next turn.
Yeah, he would need to top deck Alex Straza to bring himself up. Back to 15 straight up.
Is Firebat just going to go for the Pyroblast?
I like the Pyroblast play better because if you force your opponent to Alex Straza, then you still have the Frostbolt, Fireball for instant lethal.
Yeah, that's a good point. Anti-Keelbot. That brings up to 14. 14 is not enough, unfortunately.
No, it is not enough to live through the Mage. Now, Firebat's hand was absolutely perfect to deal with with Kolento's deck. I feel like a lot of the time this might go differently, but having the Archmage and the Antonidas early guaranteed that he was going to be able to get the burst that he wanted.
Yeah, you mean the Archmage and the Alexstrasza.
Alexstrasza, yes, sorry.
Both of them, the key cards in this matchup, and they allowed Firebat to burst through to Fatigue Mage